A couple of days ago, I put out this video here, and it says, he really said this. Russia's goal is restoring the entire empire. And he really did say this. I mean, it's pretty amazing to see him actually admitting that that's what's going on. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to watch Solovyov, and he'll say roughly the same thing with the same aplomb, charisma, and style that Solovyov and only Solovyov can bring to this. All right, so we're going to walk our way through this and see just what is said. Special thanks to the Russian Media Monitor for doing such fantastic work in making this available. And here we go. In the long run, the leader of the country remains in the history of a nation based on what he leaves behind. It's not accidental that there is a hall at the Kremlin with a gallery of only those leaders under whom Russia expanded into new territories. You can already see where this is going and what he's about to get to here. When they open a history book 100 years from now, they will look, for example, at M.S. Gorbachev. What was the territory and the population of the country at the beginning versus the end of his leadership? Well, wait a minute. Now, the way that he's framing this is kind of odd to me. Like, is successful leadership to Russia measured in how many places and how many peoples they conquered? Because if that is, then something needs to change in the Russian culture, because there will be a parasite on the rest of the world. What did he leave it with? Right now, it's too early to sum up the results of Vladimir Putin's presidency. But yesterday we had a big celebration. Now what he's talking about is the 1-year anniversary of the liberation, or swiping is probably a better term, of the 4 Ukrainian oblasts, and he had a big celebration and a party and saying and they were kind of hinting that this is just the beginning of it. This is only a start. We don't know exactly how far we're going to expand, and they said so much in this video here. We don't know exactly how far we're going to expand, but we're going to keep expanding. In fact, this propagandist was saying it was like a drug addict for the past 30 years who's now clean because now they're expanding. Like, he thought that was the proper good state where Russia is expanding like that. Amazing. Okay, 4 regions were reunified with Great Russia. First, the Crimea came back. Well, it came back because it was stolen back, and it didn't happen as a consequence of a coup. Let's set aside that it wasn't a coup, okay? And that's Russian propaganda talking point. They had a plan in place to take back Crimea before they had the pretext of the Maidan Revolution, or coup, in order to do it. So they already had some kind of existing plan. So that tells you where Russia was, what Russia was thinking about it at the time. Okay, first the Crimea came back, then Novorossiya. So Novorossiya is the Catherine the Great time word for the area that is mostly the area that is Ukraine. Not all of it yet, but a significant part. Wow, not all of it yet? The word yet is really telling of how they're thinking and processing. The Azov Sea again became Russia's inland sea. We understand that this is our historic challenge. So this is what they intend to do. So if you're a Westerner and you're thinking about, well, just leave them alone and they'll be nice. They won't be. They're going to keep coming. See, this is the problem. It's not that the West caused them to do anything. Whatever the West did or didn't do is going to be used as a pretext so they can expand, because they want to expand to their furthermost border of historical time. Now let's think about that. What if Italy did that and expanded to its furthermost border of the Roman Empire? Or even better yet, I would argue that the Mongolian Empire should expand and see what it can gobble up, including Russia, toward our centuries-old enemy. At least now we clearly understand who is our enemy, what is our purpose, and what our future holds if we win. Okay, They keep thinking in terms of it's preordained that they're going to win. They are mighty Mother Russia, and they just have to be able to win. And they're now, if they do take these places that are a part of what was once Russia, that includes the Baltic states, that includes Poland, and not just Ukraine, but other places. So, yeah, and if they do that, and Finland, and if they do that, that is the triggering event for kicking off a hot war with NATO. Do you understand? This is the mentality that we have to wrap our minds around, that they have, that expansionism at the expense of other peoples is good. Russia likes to think of itself as this multi-ethnic kind of land, and to some degree it is, but some people are more equal than others. Actual Russians are more equal than Russians from, say, Siberia or some other place who are sent to Ukraine as conscripts at a much higher rate. So this is how they do. And they talk about, well, freedoms of the people of the Donetsk People's Republic to choose for themselves. What about the people that they are conquering who don't want to be part of that? But that's never part of the equation. Okay, let's continue and we'll finish here. What our future holds if we win, as well as what may happen to us if we fail to demonstrate the necessary will, wisdom, and perseverance. And that's the end of what he had to say. Well, what will happen to them? So Russia is at a real crossroads, and they're at a crossroads of their own making. They didn't have to do this, but they were seizing on a pretext in order to expand. NATO didn't encroach on their borders. In fact, if you go back even to the Douglas McGregor interview on Fox News with Trey Gowdy, early March of 2022, McGregor is saying, well, they have to defend their borders, and NATO's been encroaching, and so they have to push out. And Trey is a lawyer. He was a former congressman from South Carolina and a former prosecutor. And he looks at McGregor and he says, well, I'm no military man, but if they do that, aren't they actually right at NATO's border? like how does that work exactly? That's what they're going to want to do, is to continue to expand. And so if you understand that, you understand the Russian mentality and the Russian mind, and they're telling you right up front what they're going to do. All right. That's all that I have here. I want you to understand that they're putting their cards on the table saying we are expansionists. It's not about the West encroaching or what NATO has done or Victoria Nuland or that, Secretary of State James Baker made some promise back in 1991. It's none of those things. They want to expand because they feel like they've been beat down for so long, because the Soviet Union collapsing was some kind of terrible thing in their minds, and they have been humiliated since. So now they want to revive this mighty empire, and they're going to do it if they can. All right, thank you for listening so far. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, and the coffees. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.